Podmoth.
Hello, boils and ghouls. Welcome to Watchers Podcast with your hosts, Brad and Coulson.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Why are you doing this to us? Gives you a home.
I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hey everybody, welcome to Watchers, and today we are continuing our holiday specials.
Yeah.
My name is Brad. The voice you just heard was Coulson Oliver.
Hello.
We just finished unwrapping each other's packages, and now we got a gift for you.
Oh my god.
Coulson?
Yeah.
Beautiful segue, wasn't it?
It was perfect.
Which just so happens to be the gift I got you for Christmas.
Oh.
A Segway.
That's awesome.
I know.
I've never been on one. You?
No.
No. They look like fun, but...
Yeah. I have all my limbs, and I don't have brain damage, so I clearly haven't been on one.
I'd look like Paul Blart just cruising around the neighborhood in that thing.
Now I'm getting you one for
Yes.
sure. I have something fun to start the episode out with.
Okay.
On Instagram at Watchers_podcast, I asked the question, what's your unpopular horror opinion?
Mm-hmm.
Got a pretty good response, so I'm just going to run through them. We'll try not to be mean to anybody.
Yeah.
We'll just say agree or disagree. Alright? Here's some of them. Halloween 3 was great.
I agree.
Me too. The Witch is boring as hell.
I can see the point, but I disagree.
Alright, I agree until I rewatch it.
Yeah, you gotta rewatch it, that's right.
Yeah. The Mist is one of the worst movies ever.
I disagree.
I disagree too, but I also don't like it.
Yeah, it's not my favorite by any means, but I wouldn't say worst ever.
I already know your answer for this one. Slashers kind of suck.
Oh, I hate that person. Yeah, no, I
Disagree.
disagree.
Me too. Alright, this guy has given us a few.
Okay. I like this, okay.
And he says, oh boy, I have a few that have been the cause of many an attack.
Okay.
I get it. Friday the 13th, 2009 is better than Friday the 13th, 1980.
I agree.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the new one yet, so
Okay.
I can't say for sure.
Okay.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003 is better than the Chainsaw Massacre 1974.
Okay, that I get the point, but I might like it more, but I think the 70s version is a better movie. More like where the 2003 is clearly a movie.
Yeah.
You know?
The first one, it has that feel of like, oh, is this real?
Yeah, it's like very, very snuff film like. It's
Yeah.
gritty and gross.
Yeah. I'm going to disagree because I love the original.
Okay.
I do like both, but...
Yeah.
Alright. The Exorcist 3 is better than The Exorcist.
I've only seen The Exorcist 3 once, and it's been a long time, so I'm not in on that one.
Yeah, I'm sort of the same way.
Okay.
I don't even know if I've seen The Exorcist 3. All of it.
Yeah, I own it, but I haven't like I say, I haven't watched it in forever.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and say I disagree because I do love the original.
Yeah,
so,
same.
Yeah.
Alright, Psycho 2 is better than Psycho.
Okay. I've seen Psycho 2, but again, it's been a long time, but there's no way it's better.
No. I can't imagine.
Yeah, I can't agree with that.
No. Alien is better than Aliens.
I agree with that.
I do too.
They're different movies, though.
Yeah.
The one is it's almost like a war movie. It's very military. Aliens is very, very. They're going to war.
Yeah, it's more of an action movie.
Yeah, action.
Where the first one's like sci-fi horror.
Yeah, exactly. There's spoiler alert. There's one alien,
Yeah.
and in the other one, there's a lot.
Yeah, and in the first one, that one alien's like super hard to kill.
Yeah,
and in the other one,
it's just a whatever research ship or whatever
Yeah.
they transport things or whatever the fuck they're doing.
yeah, the second one they're just mowing them
Yeah,
down.
they got firepower.
Yeah,
So yeah, I disagree.
me too.
Or no, I agree. He picked.
Oh, sorry.
Alien.
Yes. Alien is better than Alien.
We both agree.
Yeah. All right. Here's one I'll say I agree with. The Babadook is not good.
Yeah, I didn't like the Babadook either.
Can't stand that movie.
Yeah, it just annoyed me.
Yeah. I get why people like it.
Yeah,
But it's not for me.
no, me either.
The Exorcist and Hellraiser are overrated.
The Exorcist and Hellraiser. I don't know. I don't hear many people talking about the Hellraiser movies.
No. And The Exorcist, I think, is rated right where it should
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
be. I'm going to disagree.
me too.
Here's one that I unfortunately can't answer. Blackula was the shit.
I don't know.
But I'm going to agree.
Okay.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Child's Play 3 is the superior Chucky film.
I disagree.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't like the third one's one of my. Yeah, no, I disagree.
Yeah. I even like 2 more than
I like
3.
2 more than 3 as well.
I don't really hold The Strangers in high regard.
Okay. That one I can agree with, but that's just because it's me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like older stuff more
Yeah.
than that one.
I disagree. I think it sets the tone as being one of the creepier movies I've
That
watched.
is true, yeah.
Just the first half hour.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
I think this person may have misunderstood the question.
Okay.
Because their unpopular opinion is John Carpenter's The Thing was great. Agree.
I agree.
A Quiet Place was just okay.
I agree. No, wait, A Quiet Place, is that the one where those things they can't...
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It was just okay.
Yeah, me too. Halloween 2018 was a C- movie.
I disagree.
Me too.
I wouldn't put it in an A. Movie making, for me, I love it. So
Me too.
I put it there. But in aspects of everything if you're actually critiquing it for real, it's not a C-, but it's not an A either, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
That's where I'm sitting too.
yeah.
Midsommar is overrated.
I disagree.
Me too.
I don't really hear many people talk about it, though.
Oh, see on Facebook and on the horror groups
Yeah.
and on some Instagram places too. It's all you hear.
Okay.
99% of the time, though, it's Midsommar sucked. Hereditary sucked. These are boring. Why did anyone recommend these to me? And it's like, sorry, it's not Jason.
Yeah. No, I would disagree with
Yeah.
that, I think. Yeah.
All right. I'm assuming this one is going to be about the 1974 version.
Okay.
Black Christmas is the best slasher movie.
Strongly disagree.
Me too.
Oof. Yeah.
And finally, we are long overdue for a Freddy vs. Jason sequel.
Sure, why not?
I'll agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that came out in 2003, I think, so it's 17 years. Let's get another one going.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Me too. Why
Throw
not?
in
Throw in somebody else,
Michael
too.
Myers
Yeah.
or Ash from The Evil Dead or
Drop
somebody.
them in there. Why not?
Yeah.
I'm down.
Tiny piece of news. There is a Evil Dead video game coming out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It was announced at the Video Game Awards this year, or
Okay.
just a couple of days ago. And it looks like you're going to be able to play as characters from all the Evil Dead movies.
Oh, nice.
Kind of like a team of 4. And you'll be killing the Deadites.
Nice.
Yeah, and you can play as either team. Kind of thing. Looks
on
fun.
Xbox, PlayStation.
Looks like it's coming to everything
Okay.
next gen. So
Awesome.
yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah. Now, on to our story. This one comes from Allie Marie. This one's pretty wild.
Okay.
It was back in the 90s. I was a teen and grew up with an occult background. Some kids were messing around at my local high school, holding seances down in the animal enclosure which ran between the two-story math and English wings. The kids had started playing, but apparently had heard noises and gotten spooked. Then came the rumors that they were seeing entities looking at them from the windows of the English room that overlooked the animal enclosure. I went to investigate, and the floor was rippling and heaving, yet it was 2 stories above ground. It stopped, then this red, coppery liquid ran down the walls. It looked like rainwater, but thicker. Then it looked like what you get when someone punctures an above-ground pool. A deluge of fast water, yet the water was coppery red. I walked in expecting to wade in water, yet there was no water at all. And when you looked at the wall, there was blood-like stains running from ceiling to floor, yet everything was dry. The school has been demolished now, but the English and math wings still remain.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's a crazy one.
Yeah. The water could be explained away easily enough, I guess, but the floor moving and shit like that's weird.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
she said it looks like water, but
Yeah.
then there was no water in the room when she went in.
that doesn't make sense then.
No.
Weird.
That's a creepy one.
Yeah. I like it.
Me too. I can't explain it. Maybe someone smarter than us can.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in talking to Allie Marie a little bit more, seeing that she grew up in an occult background.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she has some more creepy stuff to tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the story. If you guys want to send us stories, Watchers_podcast on Instagram is the best way to do that.
Yeah.
Now we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Molly.
And I'm Abigail.
We're sisters.
And we believe in ghosts.
Welcome to Supernatural Sisters, a podcast all about ghostly encounters, bone-chilling monsters, and basically anything that goes bump in the night. Each week, we talk about a haunted place, a legendary monster, or a story that sends shivers down our spines. And maybe we'll talk about the pottery scene from Ghost.
He's not a ghost in that scene. There are other parts of that movie where he's a ghost.
Subscribe wherever you get podcasts.
And remember, we believe you.
And we're back. And we are reviewing Better Watch Out. Now, I will leave this to Coulson to give you a rundown with his beautiful vocal stylings.
Oh, baby. So, directed by Chris Peckover. Mm-hmm. Great last name.
Yep.
The movie came out in 2016.
Yeah.
Now, did you hear about this when it came out? Was it something that was on your radar?
I've seen the cover and things like that. Knew nothing about the movie.
Me either.
First time watch.
Me too.
And yeah, this is... Yeah.
I would recommend... We're going to spoil this.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, it is worth a watch. I think it's on Amazon Prime. That's where I watched it. So if you're a Prime member, go watch it.
Yeah, I would recommend even watching before listening.
Yes.
Because it's a little twisty.
Yeah. So the cast, we have Olivia De Jong. She plays Ashley. Levi Miller plays Luke. Ed Oxenbould plays Garrett. Virginia Madsen from Candyman plays Deandra. Patrick Warburton, people know him from Family Guy and his Putty and Seinfeld.
Yeah, any single voice acting.
I think he did Superman and other things anyway.
He was Kronk.
Yes, that's right. He plays Robert. Alex Mikic, I don't know.
Yeah.
Plays Ricky. And Dacre Montgomery plays Jeremy. So this cast, we know the Ashley and Garrett play brother and sister in
The Visit.
Luke, he's he played Pan in a movie called Pan.
He was Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Terrible movie.
I haven't seen it, but
it's not even terrible.
Okay. It's just...
It's like, watch it once.
Yeah.
I tried to watch it a second time, and I was bored. But
okay.
It has Hugh Jackman in it playing Hook.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And then the other notable one is that Dacre. I have no idea how to say his name, but he's from Stranger Things season 2. I think he came in the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he's in that. So yeah, spoiler alert. The movie's about an hour and a half. Perfect horror time.
Yep. There's a spoiler.
Yes. We start off with the opening credits building snowmen and shit.
Yeah.
And the snowman gets his head batted off. And did you hear the line that the girl... Because I wrote down... like a boy smashes the head off a snowman and then he runs away, and a girl chases him and calls him a butt fucker.
Oh, yes.
I think.
Yeah.
I literally wrote down, I think, question marks, because I was like, did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Classic. She was young. Anyway.
Yeah, this movie is an R.
Yes.
There's a lot of language and some gore. And...
So yeah, we see a young lady, Ashley. She's driving, talking to her mom on the phone. She's saying she's going to babysit for the night. Her mom questions if she's going to go see Ricky, who, I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And then she almost hits a cat on the road. And as she drives away, we see a vehicle kind of start up and pull out and follow her.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that never really leads to anything, does it?
Sure doesn't.
I never thought about that, but yeah, we never really see that again.
We'll get to that part a little later on. So next we're introduced to Luke and Garrett. They're friends. They're playing a video game. Garrett's playing a video game. Luke's on his tablet. He's talking to him about girls and him knowing what women want or whatever.
Yeah.
And during this conversation, they make mention of Home Alone, the paint can. They don't mention Home Alone, but they say a paint can,
the robber,
would crush the robber's head or whatever. And they're kind of arguing about that. And
they're like, no, he'd just fly back like in the movie.
In the movie, exactly. So yeah, they mentioned that at this point. We'll get to that later on as well.
Foreshadowing.
Yes. So yeah, Garrett, who is the friend, he's saying, I got weed for my brother, just smoke up and forget the girl. But Luke is trying to get with his babysitter.
Yeah, it's so funny because this Garrett kid looks like such a wiener.
I know.
Like he'd be the Millhouse of the friendship.
Exactly.
He's like, I got weed.
He's got weed. So Garrett says he hopes... that's a funny part because he's playing a video game and he's like, I hope you get some ass. And as he says that, he turns his chair around and Luke's mom is standing in the door, like, listening. And he's like, assistance on that computer problem that you're having. Genius.
Yep.
So, yeah, at this point, she mentions that they're going out. They left money for pizza, etc. Luke's father, Robert, he's staring at the Christmas tree and listening to Christmas music.
He's such a strange character.
He's very...
He was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah.
I wish we had got more of him.
Yeah, he's not in it very much, but his short time is perfect. He's just staring at the tree, listening to music, and she comes down and tells him to turn off the shitty Christmas music, whatever, and he says something about an ornament. One of his ornaments isn't on the tree, and he holds up, like, little ruby shoes or something.
Yeah.
And at that point, she questions his sexuality.
Yeah.
Back in Luke's room, Garrett finds a noise machine thing and questions if he still goes to sleep with that on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still sleep with a noise machine.
Yeah, I sleep with a fan on.
Yeah.
I need that. I never was that way, and then over the summer it was so hot in our room that I just had a fan on me the whole time. And now... I've tried sleeping without it, and I have to turn it on.
The problem is with people like us, like I sleep during the daytime.
Yeah.
And so I need noise.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is when the power goes out.
Oh, yeah.
You wake up. I talk to people, I'm like, the power was out. And they're like, what? I didn't even know. I'm like, how do you not know? And then I realize, oh, you sleep in pure silence anyway. You're normal.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I have 2 teenagers in our house, so... I always need noise because they're up later than me.
A little bit of noise going.
Yeah, like raccoons in the kitchen.
Yes. So, we hear the doorbell ring. It's Ashley. She's arrived. This is a strange moment because Robert answers the door and he says that she's breathtaking.
Yeah.
I found that strange.
Yeah, at first I was like, is he being creepy
Yeah.
or is he just kind of like showing more of his feminine side?
Yeah,
Like, I didn't know how to take it.
Yeah, it was very strange. And then Luke, he comes out of his bedroom and his parents tell him to take the garbage out. Ashley at this point says, hey, hurry up, we can watch a movie, we can hang out, or whatever the hell she says. So, Deandra, I think her name is, I can't remember. She fills Ashley in that Luke is a sleepwalker. She tells her to give him a sleeping pill and then to place a pencil in the door. Like, close the door, put it kind of on the knob.
Yeah, like balance it on top of the knob.
And that way, if he opens it, it falls and they'll know that he's up. So that's... We'll get to that later on, too. And apparently he doesn't know this, because she says something like, what doesn't hurt him won't... Or what
don't know won't hurt him.
Yeah, exactly.
Tucks the pencil under the carpet.
Exactly. So as the parents are leaving, the mother tells Luke not to watch scary movies. Because she's like, you'll have nightmares again. The fucking babysitter's right there. It's like, oh, you awful parent.
Yeah.
She wants him... so they'll be back at 11:30. So they leave. And right away he tries to be like, hey, let's go watch a movie. And she's like, you go play video games or something. I gotta make a phone call. So she's blowing him off right away. Yeah,
he is creepily in love with this girl.
For sure. Ashley, at this point, she's on the phone with Ricky, saying she needs to clear her head. There's obviously some sort of breakup or something going on, or space needed. Says, hey, if you want to get together at 11:30 or whatever. And she says something like, or you could break all the rules or not listen to me and come over now. And he, I guess, took that as serious, which she was like, I was just kidding, calm down.
Yeah.
At that moment, a fucking spider crawls right across her hand. Like a big... It looks like the spiders from Arachnophobia.
Yeah, it does.
Like identical to those. So she calls Luke in to kill it, and he just kind of captures it and puts it outside. Again, we'll get to that a little later on.
Yeah.
We hear her say that maybe the kid... She's back on the phone with Ricky. Maybe the kid will fall asleep early, and Luke hears that and kind of gets pissed off and goes away.
Yeah, for some reason, this Luke kid has convinced himself that he has a chance with this girl who's like 3 or 4 years older than him.
Yeah, I think she's 5 years older, or 4 or 5 years. Because he mentions that he's 12, almost 13.
Oh yeah, but he's mature for his age.
Yes, exactly.
Little weirdo.
So next we see Ashley. She's doing laundry, looking for Luke, and sits down. They start watching a movie, and she goes to the horse section, gets a movie going, and she's sitting there, and then a picture frame gets knocked off the table, and it's by Luke, who popped a cork off a bottle of champagne. And he just starts drinking it like a cool guy.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're too young, what are you doing? That whole gag.
Yeah, he's like trying to show how mature he is by drinking.
He mentions how he and Garrett drank an entire bottle. Garrett puked, can't hold his liquor like him. Ashley demands for the bottle, which he does give to her. As she's walking to dump the bottle, she says that you forgot to shut the door, you idiot, because the door is wide open.
Yeah.
So she runs and closes it and dumps the bottle out. And she gets a phone call. And, like, in the house line rings. And it's a prank caller or something.
Yeah.
It's somebody. And I think they says something like, it will be the best night. Or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Anyway, she hangs up on him, She starts drinking from the bottle, and Luke walks in, sees it, says she's busted. So then they start drinking together.
Yeah.
Which is strange. I guess he's going to tell on her now, so...
Yeah, he's like, I won't tell if you don't tell.
He tries to be cool, put his hand on her hand, and she fucking walks away. She's going to go order pizza. This is it. So, sorry, the phone rings at this point. She answers it. Nobody's on the other end. And she goes back to the living room. They start watching the movie. And Luke is asking her personal life, why she's dating Ricky. He's a jerk. Blah, blah, blah. She calls him kiddo. And at this point, he says he's almost 13. And she says that if she was his age, she'd date him. And then she realizes, shit, I forgot to order pizza. The phone rang, never got to it. Just then the doorbell rings, which she goes and looks through the people, and we see a pizza guy.
Yeah.
They say they didn't order it. Luke assumes it was his father. So he unlocks the door and pays the guy, and then she locks the door and turns around, and there's a Santa statue standing in the living room, or in the entryway, which she then picks up and puts right outside.
Yeah.
Which, it's weird because she would have seen it going there. So how did it get there?
Yeah.
But then, anyway, we'll get to that in a minute anyway. It's weird. So yeah, they sit back down. Luke's leaning his head on her shoulder. He's just being super creep. Like,
yeah.
Puts his hand on her leg. She moves it away.
Yeah. Maybe the horniest kid I've ever seen.
For sure.
He's like the Quagmire of children.
Exactly. Yeah, so her phone rings. She turns it over. It just keeps ringing. And she says, why can't Ricky just leave her alone? She takes the call. And then... yeah, whatever. So they're watching the horror movie, and something's happening in the movie where the characters go into the attic, and she's saying, "Oh, it's so stupid. Why would you go into the attic?" And at this point, you see like a shape outside the window behind them.
Yeah, that was a cool shot.
Very cool,
because it's almost like it's shot like someone standing behind the TV.
Yeah.
So you see the TV, then you see them on the couch watching the movie.
Yeah.
And then behind them you see all the windows, and you can see that like shadow
just
moving around behind them. And
a figure behind them.
Really creepy. I liked it.
Yeah, I did too. So yeah, Ashley hears something back there. She looks, and there's nothing there. And a scary part in the movie happens, so she grabs Luke's hand. And then he fucking just lunges at her, trying to kiss her. And she says, no, that whole bit again. At this point, the house phone rings again. And they say on the phone, I can see you. Which she then pulls the Sidney Prescott from Scream, goes to the window, holds up her middle finger, and says, how many fingers am I holding? That whole gag. Hangs up, but she's starting to get freaked out at this point. She then goes to the window, and that Santa statue that she put outside the door is now in front of one of the windows. So somebody's obviously out there.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, she's pissed off at whoever's out there, so she's going to go out and get the water hose and spray them. And as she goes into the kitchen, that door that she closed, accusing Luke of leaving open, is wide open again. So she runs over, slams it closed, locks it, and runs back to Luke, give me my phone. He fucking lobs it directly into the fish tank. It just sinks to the bottom. And so now she lost her phone, and or a phone, whatever phone it was.
Yeah.
She's trying to get it out, and then somebody's knocking at the door. Luke opens the door, and he's like, I know Taekwondo. It's like, oh boy.
That's what I say too.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel threatened. I went for like a month.
Intimidation.
Like, I'm a white belt.
Exactly.
Watch out.
Yeah, so he's trying to prove that he's brave and tough and whatever. And at this point, Garrett rushes in and tackles him. And he says, hey, I was just checking on you guys, wasn't... They say, were you in the backyard? He says, no. Then we hear a glass break or window break upstairs, and she tells Garrett to dial 911 on his phone, and if you hear me scream, just press send and hide. And Ashley starts heading up the stairs to investigate, and she turns around, and both boys are right there because they're scared. So they're following her up there. And upstairs we see a brick that broke through a window, and she tries to call 911, and the phones are dead. And they check the computer for the Wi-Fi, I guess, and the Wi-Fi is just gone.
Yeah.
So they're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
So she goes, okay, we'll head down to my car and we can leave. They look outside. There's a knife sticking in her tire. Garrett comes down holding the brick, and on the other side of the brick it says, if you leave, you die. And then a bright light, high beam light, just hits the house. She tells him to get upstairs. Garrett starts panicking, runs outside, and then you just hear kind of like a sniper, like not a silencer, like a, and he gets hit somewhere up high because you see blood spray.
Yeah, and he goes flying.
Yeah, he's down in the snow. So Ashley's then laying on top of Luke, like trying to protect him. And Luke sees out that Garrett's fucking dead out there laying in the snow. So they're going to go upstairs. They're going to open up a window and scream out the window. And we find out that Garrett's parents have a gun. And they'll shoot whoever comes inside. That's the new plan.
Yeah.
So they're hiding. And they see someone. As they're running up, we see somebody outside the window.
Yeah.
Again, that shape that was there. So they head upstairs, and they see a person with a shotgun, I think it was.
Looks like a shotgun or a rifle or something.
Yeah, there was a flashlight kind of checking room to room.
Yeah.
So they kind of back up, and they go up into the attic. As mentioned before, why are you doing that? Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, you know?
Yep.
So they go up into the attic to hide. They go up there, and he kind of disappears in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And she starts feeling things on her hair, and she's like, "What the? Something's touching me!" And she starts freaking out, backing up, and falls through the door to the attic thing. But Luke catches her. She's got fucking spiders again. Those arachnophobia spiders. All over her face and shirt and shit. So, they end up heading back down. Luke goes and gets a gun from his parents' room. And they move into his room. And the intruder comes in, and he's kind of looking through the room. And Luke is saying he's going to protect her and all this shit. He's being the hero.
Yeah.
Ashley's... She's trying to hold on to Luke in the closet. And some sort of toy gets turned on, and it's like a light toy. Yeah. And there's one of the creepiest masks ever that she sees, screams, and then hits. And then we find out it's just a mask. It looks like somebody's standing in there.
Yeah.
Freaky. Anyway, so yeah, she hits the mask off. It's nothing. The intruder is then in that room looking around, and Ashley sees the guy. And says that he's wearing Luke's mask.
Yeah. So, I'll stop for a second.
Sure.
If you haven't watched this movie, and you want to, this is a great place to stop listening, go watch it, and come back.
I agree.
Continue.
So yeah, she sees the intruder wearing Luke's mask. She then figures that this whole thing is a joke. She comes bursting out of the closet and says, "Garrett!" And it was Garrett.
Yeah.
He pulls the mask off, and it was just a joke. We were trying to scare you so Luke could rescue her, whatever. She's not happy, of course. She gives them both a good trashing. Garrett goes to leave, but she's like, "Stay right here. I'm going to call your parents, or Luke's parents, or whatever."
Yeah.
She's rushing down the hall. Luke follows her, screaming, "Ashley!" and multiple times, and then finally she's like, "What?" And then he just fucking pistol whipped her.
Yeah.
And she goes tumbling down the stairs, and Garrett just kind of staring at her at the bottom.
Yeah. At this point, I thought she was dead.
Yeah.
And I thought the movie was going to be them trying to, like, figure out what to do with her dead body.
Right. That would make sense. So yeah, at this point, we see Ashley's point of view. It's all blurry. She's coming to, and she's tied to a chair. Garrett is riding a scooter around a house, and we find out that they've taken Oxy. Luke sits in a chair in front of her, kind of like intimidation style, or interrogation, I guess it is. And he's looking through her purse, and he finds lipstick and puts like a mouth on her duct tape, where her mouth would be. He has the gun. He's just kind of fucking with her. He says they're going to play Truth or Dare, and if she wins, he'll untie her. If she loses, she has to drink a bottle of something. It's like a little like a Visine bottle.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Acid, maybe? I know people put acid in that. I have no idea what it could be.
Yeah.
Unless it was Visine and he wants her to get diarrhea.
That could be it.
Could be. Yeah, so anyway, I have no idea what the fuck that was, but she picks Truth, and he asks, how many guys have you fucked? And he's like, 12. It's getting creepy. He's very weird.
Yeah.
She says none. He doesn't believe her. And then Luke picks Dare or something. Garrett dares him to touch her tit. So he just goes over, and the creepiest, like, tit grab ever.
Yeah. This is where the movie gets really uncomfortable.
It's really weird. He starts like, and then I guess he gets a boner doing it because Garrett's like, "Look at you!" And anyway, he starts getting pissed off, and she says, saying it felt like a little boy felt her up or whatever.
Yeah,
kind of getting under his skin a little bit.
Yeah, around this time in the movie too, they're having a conversation like fuck, marry, kill.
Yeah.
And they're talking about like the characters from Adventure Time. Like
okay.
Cartoon.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's very weird. So at this point, they continue the game. Ashley asks Luke, Truth or Dare. He picks Truth. And she says, do you ever tell Garrett that you killed his hamster? And he's like, no, next question, or let's move on, or whatever. And Garrett and him start arguing at this point. Kind of, that's fucked up. Garrett's turn, he picks Dare, and Luke won't let him touch Ashley. It's his babysitter. And at this point, Garrett decides to leave. He doesn't like this whole thing. And then we hear them talking in the other room, saying, just stay, whatever. And at this point, Ashley's in her chair tied up, and she starts bouncing back and gets a flashlight from the table and starts, like, flashing it out the window.
Yeah, into the neighbor's windows.
Yeah. So they come back in the room. They obviously see that, whatever. They start laying out their plan, what they're going to do. And they say that they're going to have her drink in celebration, because I guess she was moving to Pittsburgh soon. And in the morning, she won't remember any of this. So they're making her drink.
Yeah.
At this point, she kicks the bottle out of his hand. It explodes on the floor. And the doorbell rings. So Luke goes to see, and he looks out the peephole thing, and it's Ricky. So Luke says he doesn't want... Or Luke says that she doesn't want to see you, all this stuff. He says, can you just give her the flowers I brought? And so he's like, yeah, pass him through the door. Not, hey, leave him on the doorstep, I'll get him when you leave.
Yeah.
He fucking unlocks the door, and of course the guy just plows his way forward.
Yeah.
So he's looking for, there's loud music playing. Luke turned on the stereo before he answered the door. And he's calling Ashley. Ashley doesn't know where she is, and they say she's got cramps, and I think they even mentioned she has diarrhea.
Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, she's on her period.
Yeah.
And then the other kid, Garrett's like, she has diarrhea.
She has diarrhea. So he's saying, I don't care, like, I want to go see her, whatever. And they say, she's upstairs. So Ricky's heads up. Now, Ashley had tipped herself over in her chair, and she got a piece of glass, I guess, from the bottle she broke. Mm-hmm. And Garrett goes back in and stands her back up, not knowing that she has this piece of glass. Now, upstairs, Ricky is looking for Ashley, and it's kind of creepy because it's like a hallway shot, and he's kind of going room to room calling her name.
Yeah.
And we just see Luke go into one of the rooms and come out with like an aluminum baseball bat, and he's kind of just like hits him right in the head and just does like a weird like dance.
Yeah, the kid is almost like Christian Bale in American Psycho.
It's a good point.
Like, he's so crazy.
Yeah.
And like he has this weird like cocky attitude.
Yeah, very.
Whenever he's in control. He like the weird little dance. It reminded me of American Psycho or something.
Yeah, so he's doing his stupid dance, and meanwhile Ricky is getting up. He's got his back to him, doesn't know. Goes up, grabs Luke, and just throws him to the ground. They start kind of wrestling a little bit. Luke grabs a pencil that was under the carpet and stabs him right in the cheek.
Yeah.
Ricky gets up, he grabs the bat, he's about to fucking bash him. He's got I think he even has he might have pulled the pencil out at that point. But he's got the bat and he's ready. And then Garrett comes upstairs with a shotgun pointed at him and tells him to drop the bat. So Ricky does as he's told. Luke grabs the bat and then hits him in the back of the head, knocking him unconscious. And he says, "Isn't this exciting?" to Garrett. And Garrett's like fucking weirded out, like, Jesus Christ. Thinks they're going to die in prison.
Yeah.
So, now we see like a montage thing. It shows him cleaning up the blood in the hallway from the bat, and he's like sharpening the pencil to remove the skin and blood.
Yeah, which is pretty clever.
Yeah.
I like that.
So now they have Ashley and Ricky tied up side by side, and he says Ricky showing up screwed up their plan. But we find out that Luke actually texted Ricky and told him to come over. And Garrett is mad again that he was lied to. He didn't know. So Luke then calls Ashley's other boyfriend. I don't know who's her boyfriend.
Ricky is her boyfriend. Jeremy's Rex.
Okay. So Luke calls calls Jeremy and tells him to come over.
Yeah, Jeremy's a simpleton.
Yeah. Jeremy's my favorite character. I love this guy.
Yeah. Whenever he calls him, he's...
Yeah, what is he? He says, Ashley, Ashley's here or whatever. And he's like, there's no Ashley here, bro. And then just hangs up the phone. And he's like, you idiot. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So at this point, Ricky, he points a gun at him, like at his eye. And Ricky ends up pissing himself. And so Luke then cleans it up and takes the garbage outside. At this point, Ashley starts cutting her hand free with the piece of glass that she had. And she couldn't... I think she gets one hand free as Luke comes back inside. And he says at this point he wants to watch them bang.
Yeah.
Or he uses the F word. It's just creepy to say that and watch you guys fuck. It's so weird.
Yeah. This kid's so messed up.
He's very strange. Now, at this point, as that uncomfortable situation's going on, Luke smells weed being smoked, and he runs out, and Garrett's out there smoking weed in his house. And Ashley, at this point, starts cutting her leg free. And she gets free, or one leg free. Luke brings the weed to Ricky and tells him to smoke it. Ricky says no, and then they force him to do it, and they drag Ricky out of that room to stay out with Garrett.
Yeah, they're trying to get the weed in Ricky's system.
Yes, exactly. Now, Luke comes back with a can of paint, i.e. the beginning that we mentioned. And he says, we're going to do a little Mythbusters of our own. Garrett says, Luke, you were right. Like, we don't have to do this. You were right. I was wrong.
Yeah.
and he ends up tying up a can of paint on the banister thing, and he throws it down, and it swings right by his head.
Yeah.
And he yells down, like, is it good height or whatever? And he's like, Jesus.
Kid's a fucking psychopath.
Big time. So Luke, at this point, Ashley's almost free. She's got, I think, both her legs done. And anyway, Luke says he's going to try it one more time. So I think he threw down a blindfold or something, tells Garrett to blindfold him. So Ashley is free now, other than her one hand. She grabs the gun, which they left on the table. She runs out and tells Luke to put the can of paint down or I'll shoot. And he just goes, okay. And he throws the can of paint, which then swings down and smashes Ricky right in the fucking head. Like,
yeah, it caves his skull in.
Oh, big time. It kind of cut away.
Yeah.
I was bummed out about that.
But you do get a shot of it later with the paint can stuck in his face.
Yeah.
One of my favorite shots from this is the blood in the yellow paint running down the chair together.
Yeah, that's great. So it smashes him. The can of paint explodes, covering Garrett, who was standing right next to him, in yellow paint. And even blood sprayed. It's very gross, like you said, the red and yellow pouring down onto his shoes. Luke is very excited about this. He goes, his head exploded. Fucking weirdo, man. Ashley then points the gun at Luke and says that he says, you can't shoot me. And she points it up in the air, pulls the trigger, and there's, of course, no ammo. Ashley then runs out of the house and gets shot. Remember, Garrett running out of the house, he got shot. You leave, you die.
Yeah.
She gets shot, same thing, but she just kind of goes, ow, rubs her shoulder, looks over, and there's some sort of tripwire attached to a paintball gun.
Yeah.
So that was the whole thing that took Garrett down. Anyway. So Garrett comes out, they start kind of fighting, and she fights and gets free, jumps over the fence, and we hear Christmas carolers going on, whatever they're called. So she's running towards them, and then gets taken down just before she gets there. And it looks like he threw the brick at her, because it was broken in half right near her. So the carolers are now caroling to Luke.
Yeah.
And he's got them like hot cocoa. It's super creepy because inside the house, right behind him, is the guy with the paint can to the head. And he's just listening to them.
Yeah, a big smile on his face.
Very strange. Yeah. So inside we see Ashley. She's all taped up, big time now, all around, tied up with Christmas lights too.
Yeah.
And he's telling her he got rid of Ricky for her. And she hits him in the balls. I think she must knee him or something. And Garrett, at this point, he's very sad. He doesn't know why he had to kill Ricky. And Luke is telling Garrett that they're going to get away with it. And at this point, we hear kind of a backstory. Like, Luke says, hey, that time that you skipped class, who got you out of it by saying that, you know, whatever happened. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
And then Luke says something about stealing from his mother's purse and pretending to sleepwalk when he got caught. So that explains the sleepwalking thing. This kid's just a piece of shit who always gets away with everything. So Luke, he uses Ashley's phone. Now at this point he had her phone like wrapped up, I think, in like a bag. So it must have been her phone that he threw into the fish tank, but it was protected. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I guess that must have been what happened.
Okay, because I didn't want to rewind it or anything because it was, streaming on Prime. So but that's what it looked like. It looked like he unwrapped her phone from like a bag or plastic wrap or something because he made a note like, hey, still works. Anyway. He says that he's going to make a post about Jeremy and he tells Garrett to keep her quiet while he deals with Jeremy. Outside, Jeremy is drinking in his car, practicing what he's going to be saying to Ashley. He's like you mentioned, he's a dope.
Yeah, he is.
He goes around back and he trips over something, and he's like, "Oh, what the hell was that?" And we find out that it was like a
catapult.
Yeah, exactly, used for flinging the brick into the window.
Yeah.
So Jeremy, he knocks on the door, and Luke meets him outside, tells him to take a seat. And inside the house at this point, Garrett just wants the night to be over. And she starts rubbing his hand. You know, that whole, hey, I'm on your side thing.
Yeah.
Back outside, Luke says Ashley wants Jeremy to apologize. He gives him a book, tells him to write, you know, your apology into it. And he just writes, "I'm sorry," and throws the book at him. Luke asks, "Is that it?" And then he takes the book back and gets a little more detailed. Inside, Ashley's trying to convince Garrett to let her go. And back outside, Jeremy's done his apology letter. And he's like, "I'm done." And he can't find Luke. And then Luke comes up from behind him, throws a rope over his head, around his neck, and he kind of like trips forward off the swing and is like hanging. And then he starts like a lawn tractor and goes forward, and it just raises him up off the ground.
Branch.
And just so creepy.
Yeah.
He's kicking, trying to survive, obviously. And then he just finally stops kicking. He's just kind of hanging there. And they kind of pan across to the letter, and it's like, it says, "Dear Ashley, I'm so sorry for everything I've done. I love you so much, Jeremy."
Yeah. So now it looks like a suicide note.
Exactly. Inside, Garrett is now cutting her free. He apologizes to Ashley and kisses her on the cheek. And then gets blown away. He literally goes flying. You hear a shotgun blast. Boom, he's gone. Luke is angry. He said, "I told you not to touch her." And then Garrett's still alive.
Yeah.
But he blasts him once more, killing Garrett.
Yeah. And then he starts screaming.
Screaming.
Like,
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah. It's like the first time in the whole movie where he shows any sort of like remorse almost.
Yeah.
Like that he's done something wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he switches off.
He switches right back and says, "You're starting to annoy me anyway." Anyways, very weird. Then he lays next to Ashley and says, or she says, "You were never going to let me go, were you?" And he says, "Guilty." He starts talking to her about when he was really young, his mom used to hold him, and then she just stopped, and now he doesn't sleep well. And Ashley says she knows exactly why she stopped, and Luke says why. And then she closes her eyes, and I don't know if she's pretending to sleep or what. She just doesn't answer him. And he's yelling at her, telling her to say something. He pulls out a knife and stabs her right in the neck.
Yeah.
And kisses her in the head and says, "Good night." And, outside now we see him. This is the whole montage of setting the crime scene.
Yeah.
He's wiping paint on Jeremy's hand. He puts a knife in his hand and the shotgun. He's getting ready for bed. He's brushing his teeth, and then he remembers the hole in Ricky's cheek.
Yeah.
So he runs downstairs and he grabs a pencil and he sticks it in the wound, moves it around a little bit, and then drops it in the paint goop. Runs back upstairs to his room. He's trying to get the pencil to balance on his door, but it keeps falling off, because how the hell could you ever balance that on the outside? It would just never happen.
No.
So he tries a couple times, and then he goes outside, puts it on, runs to the next door, goes out the window, goes in his own bedroom window.
Yeah. As that's happening, his parents show up.
He's got like a tracking thing on his phone that he can see. They're like 2,500 meters away or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's getting closer and closer.
And then he's on the roof, and
He's on the roof. They're pulling up, and he knocks something down, like a ornament or decoration.
Yeah.
So yeah, he jumps back in his room, and he gets into bed, and then he remembers something else. He pops up, runs to the end of his bed, turns on the noise machine, and gets back into bed. We then hear his parents come in. They start screaming, and she rushes up to his bedroom. He's sleeping, pretending to sleep. And now we cut to the police and ambulance, and they're all there. Luke is being held by his mother, like when he was young, like he mentioned. He's happy. He's got a little smirk on.
Yeah.
And then we hear the paramedics in the basement.
He sort of like wakes up. He's like pretends to wake up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what's going on?
Exactly. We hear the paramedics from the basement yell, we have one still alive. And Luke runs to his window. His mother lets go of him and runs down. Luke runs to the window and looks out. And we see Ashley being wheeled to the ambulance, and we find out she put duct tape on the wound, and that saved her life.
Yeah.
And then she's looking up at him, flips him the bird.
Yeah.
And gets wheeled into the ambulance as he's just standing there watching her. And then the end credits roll.
Yeah.
So that is it.
Did you watch the mid-credits scene?
No. Fuck! Fuck! What happened?
So, after a few minutes of the credits, it shows Luke, and he's like, Mom, I'm worried about Ashley. Can we go to the hospital?
Oh, god damn
And that's it.
Fuck. I always check, too. Always.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you got that. Yeah, so what do you...
I thought this was great.
Me too.
Absolutely not what I expected at all.
Yeah, me either.
I was expecting straight up home invasion.
Me too.
Loved the twist.
Me too.
This Levi Miller kid, the acting out of him is unreal.
Yeah, very good.
Like, he goes through an entire, like, gamut of emotions in this thing. Like, plays a psychopath so good.
Very well.
On top of that, every time he's in charge, he's like this cocky little shit.
Yeah.
And then as soon as something bad happens, you see him acting like a little kid, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like, whenever Ricky tackles him or whatever, it has the bat, he's like,
exactly.
a scared little kid.
A scared little kid.
And then when Ricky pisses himself, he's like, ew!
Yeah.
And he's like,
exactly.
And throughout the whole movie, when he's like screaming and like yelling at people and stuff, you hear his voice cracking and everything.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good thing that they did. I don't know if that was his natural thing or if they somehow made that work, but it was good.
Yeah. No, I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah.
All the acting was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun.
Yeah. Low body count.
Yeah.
Only 3, I believe. Garrett. The 2 boyfriends.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite kill?
Oh, yeah.
Paint can?
It's Paint Can. Paint Can Ricky.
Yeah, that was good. I also will say I liked her death, or if it would have been a death.
Yeah.
Just that noise of the knife going, and you hear her go like...
Yeah.
It was so creepy, like...
Subtle.
Yeah.
Really well done.
But, yeah, that one... They're probably not a worse one. They were all fairly good.
Yeah.
Even the hanging one was creepy to watch.
Yeah, it was well done.
Yeah. Anything make you jump?
No, I don't think so.
Me either.
No.
Although I will say the scene that we mentioned with the person outside the window, that gives you the goosebumps a little bit, you know?
Yeah, that
it's
was
like,
creepy.
Oh, that's fucking weird. It's just right there,
Yeah.
like, oh. That was back when we thought it was a home invasion still, not 2 little assholes playing a trick.
They do a good job of kind of like making you think this movie's going to be funnier than it is too.
Yeah, that's true.
Like whenever you're introduced to Patrick Warburton as the father, and he's just like this goofy character that seems like he should be in National Lampoons or something more than this.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, it gets pretty dark.
It does, yeah. Doesn't take very long either. I mean, it's a quick movie, hour and a half, and it goes by pretty quick.
Yeah, that first half hour, home invasion, and then the last hour is just great.
Yeah. I liked it.
I found they did a really good job of making me... I hated the kid all the way through the movie.
Right.
Then when he's trying to get away with it, you're like, oh shit, is he going to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, he got away with it until that last few seconds of the movie.
Yeah. Now, if it were up to me, I'd almost wish that they just had her dead and have him get away with it. It almost makes it like, oh, you little shit, always getting away with it. But this way, it's kind of like, aha, you got yours now. I guess it's good both ways, but I just prefer the...
But if he is going to the hospital...
Yeah, that's true.
And he kills her.
Yeah.
I would like to see a sequel.
Yeah.
He might be a little too old now to do, like, start up where they left off kind of thing. And
yeah, they could have him, because if he was 13, it's been 4-5 years, say, so he could be in college doing this crazy shit.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that could work.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else?
I
have a little bit of trivia.
Okay.
Did you notice what I noticed? I skipped over this in my notes because I knew I was going to talk about it at the end. The doorknobs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So this was shot in Australia.
Yeah.
Apparently Australians have their fucking doorknobs 5 feet off the ground.
Yeah, I don't understand why.
Very weird. Now, we should also mention that all the actors other than Patrick Warburton and Virginia Madsen are Australian.
Yeah.
You'd never know it because they all speak with American accents. Other than Ricky, I think, is Australian. He has an accent.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know because they're very good.
Yeah.
But I think it was a director who had said, like, I hate the doorknob. It's so distracting. Like, people are going to notice this. Like, it's supposed to be set in America.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I didn't know Australians had this until I looked it up at the end. But the fact that their doorknobs were... I was like, this is a weird house. Like, their doorknobs are head level. It's very strange. But I guess that's what they do there. So
yeah, I wonder what the reasoning is.
I don't know.
At first I was thinking, like, oh, maybe it's to keep little kids from opening them. But then if I had, like, a house fire or something, I'd want my kids to be able to reach the doorknobs.
It seems like a major hazard. Very, very crazy.
Yeah, but, so if anyone from Australia is listening to this show, please explain your doorknobs.
Please. It's weird.
Yeah. Spooky, scary, terrifying?
I'll put it at scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's creepy in that, it's good. I liked it.
Did you have more trivia? Sorry.
No, that was it. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah. And what did you say? Creepy or spooky, scary?
I'll go with scary.
Yeah, same?
Yeah.
Okay. And rating?
Yeah.
Anything else? Sorry.
No, I'll go with ratings.
Okay.
It has a 6.5 on IMDb.
Okay.
Which I think might be a little low.
Yeah.
I'm going to go... I'll go 8. I really liked it.
That's what I have as well.
Yeah.
An 8.
Yeah, the switch got me. I had no idea that was coming. I think it made for a better movie.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
It's very surprisingly good for a Christmas horror movie.
Yeah. And this is one that I will watch again.
Yeah.
Try to buy if I can.
Yeah.
But
it's one that can be watched anytime, too.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not even so Christmassy that you save it for Christmas.
That's right.
Like, it can be watched at Halloween or any time of the year.
Anytime.
One of us that watch horror movies year round.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll do it for this episode. Thank you very much for listening, and we will return next week with our final Christmas horror movie.
Yay.
Bye. That concludes our show. Hope you had fun, and if you want to subscribe, we're available wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, though, please be sure to leave that coveted 5-star review. If you want even more Coulson and Brad, you can check out our Facebook page by searching Watchers Podcast. Follow us on Letterboxd at Campbell Brad and Noslock88. That's Coulson backwards, 88. And on Twitter at WatcherPod and on Instagram at Watchers_podcast. Bye.